So, we're here once again at 2 in the morning. We're making another video, and unfortunately today, it's another video where somebody said something stupid. I tried to explain how it was stupid. They didn't listen repeatedly, and now they're banned. So, what are we talking about? Well, for starters, I made a video. I uploaded it yesterday. I was like a week late on actually posting it. But it attracted the suspects I kind of expected to not be willing to listen and have a proper conversation about things. And, well, Demi Supremi here is a perfect example of the kind of person who was going to get mad over what occurred and have absolutely zero desire to actually listen to reality and facts. Um, so to be clear, Demi Supremi here has a bias, is how I'm going to phrase that, and we'll get into that in a bit. But basically, to summarize each of these three screenshots, Demi made statements saying, "Oh, this is censorship. This was clearly censorship. It doesn't matter if the government did it or if the payment processors did it or if Collective Shout did it. It was censorship." And it's like, no, no, it's not. It didn't even have anything to do with Smut. It didn't have anything to do with any of that. All right. Look, at the end of the day, what happened is clear and obvious. The U.S. had in place, shit against Russia and China. They were not really supposed to be selling things in the US. Payment processors said, "Hey, we're sending this money to what isn't even really companies. Like these are just people, like indie devs, which it's not an attack on indie devs either, right? What happened is the payment processor said, "Hey, we're sending this money to these guys. We can't verify who these people are. These could be threat actors, whatever. We're really not supposed to be processing transactions. Like there's trade deals going on that are complicated, and we really don't want to send money to these guys." So Steam said, "All right, fair. You know, we'll get rid of the and we'll implement some standards saying, hey, if a payment processor says we're not gonna send the money, we're not releasing the funds, there's no reason for you to be here." So basically, Steam is saying, hey, if you're making low quality garbage and it just happens to be porn most of the time, is unfortunately why people believe this is an attack on NSFW content again. Then you're just not allowed on Steam. Is basically the point. Like, if we're not even going to be able to send you the money, you're not allowed to be here effectively. And all the payment processors were kind of in agreement, which makes it seem like there was a conspiracy to get rid of things, which is not really the case. Because if you notice, this is international trade situation going on, and it's only really two countries, like I said, China and Russia, who had their indie devs get kicked off the platform because, well, it's just how it happened, right? Basically, it really doesn't matter. Because really, as I show on screen right now, censorship has a definition. Um, this isn't that. You might say, oh, it's because it's obscene content, and oh, well, you're saying it's these two countries that we're not friendly with, so it could be that it's a threat to security. No, because the scope matters. Not all Chinese companies were kicked off of Steam. Not all um, Russian companies were kicked off of Steam. Not all porn was kicked off of Steam. So it's clear and obvious that this is not censorship. That requires a scope which is not met here. Because censorship implies that you are removing something permanently in all regards just because it is unwanted. It's suppressed, and you can't have it, right? There how do I put this politely? There are some people who have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, who do not understand that Valve used to have a system in place called Greenlight, where the users had to vote on things that were planned to come to Steam, right? So an indie dev could put something on Steam, and if it got greenlit, right, the community was okay with it. It would get put onto the platform for sale. Valve took that away, said, "Hey, pay $100, just your game's on Steam." Like this is clearly being abused. People are paying people and giving away free copies of the game just to get it on Steam. And that was originally the wall that, when it was removed, flooded shovelware onto the platform. And Valve used this as a chance to get rid of the shovelware effectively. because they're being sold for like $5 to $10. Nobody's really buying them for the most part. They're just garbage slop. Usually, what we call Western visual novels, where it's a lot of asset flip garbage, and they got rid of it. Not even all of it, which is the part that baffles me. Why people believe that this was censorship? Because once again, scope matters. Not everything was removed. Anyways, he's basically goes on to say, "Oh, where's your object permanence skills?" No, well, object permanence is I hold up my phone, I see my phone, I cover my eyes, I drop the phone behind me, I turn the other way. Where's my phone? Oh no. No, I know my phone's over there. My object permanence skills are fine, right? He didn't even say anything that relates to object permanence. So I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about, right? So if we go ahead and go to the next picture here. Yep. There we go. We see that this is really where the conversation started as well. This is mainly why he's gone. So basically, it comes down to I tried to repeatedly explain, like, hey, if you really want to, you want to jerk your hog, you know, there's better products out there. Like, these were not products that should have even been on Steam, effectively, is what this whole conversation boiled down to, right? And I'm leaving this up, and I'll take my face out of here for a second, just so you can have this plainly visible, right? And we'll leave this up. Go ahead and pause if you want to read the conversation, if you really give a shit. Um, and then we're just going to move on to the last screenshot here, and you can basically see at the end of the day that he goes and he says, "All right, and guess what? If you want me to shut the fuck up, you'd have to censor me." Funny how that works. So that's not censorship again. You're still platformed. You're allowed to say whatever you want. You're allowed to have whatever opinion you want. You just can't have it here. Um, I'm sick of fighting with people like you who show up, you just want to pick a fight. What happens is we get heated, you don't listen, I call you a fucking retard, and then you report my comment and you get mad about it and your butt hurt, and then my channel gets taken down because you don't like what's happening. You don't like that you're losing, you don't like that you're being told you're fucking stupid, and it's whatever. So basically, I'm doing this as a video. Once again, just like with my video about Molly in Killing Floor 2's moderation team for the Steam forums, it just I'm not having this conversation with you in comments because you don't want to fucking listen. So I'm doing this in a video so that you can see my face and we can have this as a man-to-man conversation. I think you're fucking stupid. Your gooner brain is incapable of accepting reality. I tried to give you products that would be better than the shit that got removed objectively and is still for sale on Steam, but you didn't want to listen. So your bias is gone. That's how I'm gonna phrase it. And as I said, we're gonna go look at this guy's channel, right? Because I think that is important here, right? So that you can see the kind of person we're dealing with. If you couldn't already kind of tell from the screenshot and the smaller part of those pictures, this is AI, and it's not even good because this is I think it's a right now. That's a left foot on the right leg. I almost said it backwards. It's a right foot on the left leg, basically, is what you can tell, because leg up, down, it's clearly the ass cheek there. There's the other leg there, kind of in the background. So already AI addicted gooners are just the worst kind. Um, Clearly, based on the shirt and based on my phone case, I like me some smut. I'm not this guy where, as we can see the content that he's put out there, he has a political bias already, as a lot of people who are taking issue with what's going on do. He just smut garbage, AI trash, more of the same. Already first off, this guy's a furry, so it's like you can already tell the kind of quality we're looking at here. It's just like my guy is he's got some mental problems. Let's put it that way. Being nice about it. So yeah, clearly he wasn't going to be willing to have a intelligent conversation on a subject as deep and complicated as international trade and trade negotiations and how banks operate internationally, um, I don't expect most people would be capable of having that conversation because it's complicated shit that, like I tried to explain. You kind of have to understand to be able to have a conversation about it. It's not like if this was actually censorship, then yeah, there's a conversation to be had there that everybody can have. This guy can't. So is what it is.